Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it. You find a way.
Boxing King Media in association with SaveMoreMoney.com. Delighted to be joined by Big Daddy Steve Bunce. Two biggest names in British boxing. I'll start with Tyson Fury. We saw a lot of backlash after his fight with Ngannou. You know, there were people in the industry saying he's going to retire. You don't want it anymore. Some were saying his legs are gone. Johnny Nelsons were quite vocal about that, but he based that opinion on Tyson saying that he had a great camp. It's just your observations. You've got some crazy life experiences in the boxing game. You know, what did you make of that and the fact that he's fighting Usyk next?
Tyson knew in about 20 seconds that he'd got it all wrong. He'd got his commitment to training, his preparation wrong. He'd underestimated Ngannou, every part of Ngannou's footwork, Ngannou's actual strength. And there's a clinch after 20 seconds, maybe even less, when there's a short look, quick look comes across Tyson Fury's face. And that's when he realises, oh, I've got this wrong. Then he just has to go into his tank and his reserve to eke out the victory that he eked out. He did train. He may have even done 10 weeks, but it wasn't a proper 10 weeks. He did have enough respect for Ngannou, but it wasn't fully the respect he needed to have. I mean, there's a bit of name dropping here, I spoke to Mike Tyson the next morning. He was with Scott Welsh, his great friend, former British champion, a heavyweight champion from Brighton. And Scott and Tyson were sitting there, and I just finished interviewing Usyk on the Sunday after the fight. And I came downstairs, Scott pulled me over, and I was talking and congratulated Tyson, obviously, because that's Mike Tyson. And he got up, Mike Tyson, and he showed me something which I found really disturbing. He showed me how they'd worked on throwing that big loop-in left hook over anything lazy that Fury did. Now, just think about that for a second. Here's a man that's never had an amateur or professional fight. We know he'd worked in boxing gyms. We know he'd done kickboxing. We know he could hit the pads. We know he could spar with people. We've heard all those stories. But the audacity of Mike Tyson working with Francis Ngannou to work on one big particular looping shot to catch Tyson Fury anywhere, shoulder, head, neck, which is where it caught. It connected with about 8 parts of Tyson's body. So they had, the point I'm trying to make here, is they prepared down to the finest, tiniest little detail. The finest, tiniest little detail. It's clear that Tyson Fury had done no preparation for anything that Ngannou would do. So Ngannou went forward, back and forward in straight lines all fight long. He couldn't go off to the left, couldn't go off to the right. Why wasn't Fury sparring with people that just came at him in straight lines? And literally, you put I've seen it, you put tape in the ring, and those are your lines. That's all your lines. You've got 4 lines, one going this way, one going that way, one going this way, one going that way. Work inside those lines. They're called lines for a reason. Fury should have been picking him off, doing everything. And instead, Fury said he was awkward. He's been sparring and boxing all his life. How did he find it awkward? His head was wrong. But he's still prepared. He's still trained. He just didn't train hard enough, and his head was in the wrong place. And then Ngannou, we praised Ngannou, but all Ngannou did was like a big novice does. He threw big lefts, he threw 2 lefts, he gave a pause, he threw a big right hand. When the man in front of him missed with a shot, he threw a big left hook, which he'd been working on. And beautifully, Mike Tyson and Ngannou conned us, without a doubt, for 6 weeks, with some of the worst training footage in history. And wait for it, we all believed it. Because no one said to me, the day before that fight, and I was in Saudi for a week, no one said to me, Bunce, you know all those films we've seen of Ngannou training? They're a con, every single one of them. What we said was, he can't be that bad, can he? Well, guess what? He wasn't. It was a con. A great con.
That's a brilliant breakdown, Bunce. Just a short answer on that. So from what you've evaluated there, he's not finished. He's got plenty left in the tank. Is that basically what you're summarising?
He's got enough left in the tank, and he's not finished. But we won't ever see the Fury we saw in the second Wilder fight. We won't ever see the brilliance, frustrating brilliance that we saw that night in Dusseldorf in front of 50,000 people. That Fury's gone. We'll see a different Fury, a slower Fury, maybe perhaps a more thinking Fury.
Still good enough to beat Usyk?
On his best day, with whatever he's got left, yeah. But Usyk seems to have very good days, and he seems to have them on a very regular basis. And there's just something about Usyk, isn't there? Let's get it right. I mean, we've got to stop calling him small. You know, it's embarrassing. We keep calling him small.
Last thing I want to speak to you about, it's come up again, and this narrative's run for quite a while now. Anthony Joshua and his mental side of things, people saying he's mentally weak, mentally fragile. We've seen Carl Froch today say that he agrees with Deontay Wilder that he's mentally fragile. What I want to raise is, now this is just an observation, 6 foot plus man stepping into the ring facing another 6 foot plus man who could potentially knock him unconscious in front of millions of people. Surely if you're mentally weak, you're not going to be doing that.
That's far too sensible. Of course, if Anthony Joshua was as weak finished, cowardly, glass-chinned, reluctant to engage, how would he have got through the last few years? It's so long ago that he got hit on the chin by Andy Ruiz, seconds after he dropped Andy Ruiz. That was in what, June the 1st, 2019, to 20, to 21, to 22, to 23, to 24. We're talking about 5 years, for God's sake, nearly 5 years. Yeah, he gets abused ridiculously, AJ. Does he have to overcome certain things to get his head right before he gets in the ring? Yes. Does he maybe get some of that wrong and goes in the ring perhaps when he's not in the best mental and physical shape? Yes. But show me a fighter at the top level who's not carrying demons of some type. That's what they carry. That's the way they work. They've got demons. They overcome their demons. They exercise their demons often in those fights. Even guys who you think are the most carefree characters in the world, guys like Roberto Duran. Why do you think they went on 2-month benders, putting on 4 or 5 stone? That's fighting demons. That's the same. Okay, they don't have problems in the dressing room. They sit in the corner, you know, tapping their feet and nodding their head, but they fight demons in other ways. All good fighters fight demons. AJ has to fight some of his demons and overcome them. I really dislike it when I hear people telling me how little he's got left and how little he wants it. I find it a massive insult.
Do you think it could be a case of this, again, potential summary to this? It's a case of him maybe being pissed off at the people that are suggesting that, and then maybe he kind of shows that in the interviews and the way it comes across. Maybe it's that anger in retaliation to them comments.
AJ's never really had the respect. I mean, let's not mince our words. Half the people in the boxing business say that he won an Olympic gold medal with X amount of lucky decisions. Half the people in the boxing business say that he was manufactured. Half the people in the boxing business say that, you know, he's not been the same since Andy Ruiz. It's easy to knock anybody. You know, let's get that right, okay? Did you see Tyson Fury against Otto Wallin? Okay, I interviewed him in the ring after that fight. Okay, there was Bob Arum, Frank Warren, Ben Davison and Tyson Fury, and they had no idea what had just happened. The man they thought they would walk through in 5 or 6 rounds in the build-up to the Deontay Wilder second fight had suddenly put a hole in Tyson Fury's eyebrow that required whatever 40-odd stitches, and had pushed him and had come back. It looked like quitting in about round 9. He had Joey Gamache in his corner, rallying him on, and I think he came on and won the next round. They had no idea what had happened in the ring that night, okay? That's what happens. That's the type of thing that happens. And yet Fury is always continually praised. So AJ looks at that and he's trying to work out. What's this guy, why does this guy get praised all the time when I'm doing my best over here and I get constantly kicked? Even Fury would admit that wasn't a great performance, but he still gets the praise. AJ just gets constantly and constantly kicked. Because at the end of the day, what's AJ done wrong? He's a heavyweight. He got hit on the chin when he dared to believe in a fight in Madison Square Garden. He boxed the guy's ears off in the rematch. He got outperformed twice by a tricky guy in Alexander Usyk. He didn't get bashed up or smashed to bits or massive. It wasn't a shutout in either fight against Usyk, who's a really good fighter. I'm not quite sure what he's done wrong to deserve the kicking that he gets. Perhaps it's because for an awful long time now, Tyson Fury has understandably controlled the narrative. It's a cliched expression. Perhaps that's what it is, that Tyson Fury has controlled the entire narrative. So if Tyson Fury says X, it's true. If Tyson Fury says Y, it's true. Perhaps that's it. And AJ, he's been a bit sharp, he's been a bit petulant sometimes around the press. He gets unbelievable pelters for talking at that Black Lives Matters rally. All he said is what just about every single leading black athlete and leading black entertainer in America has been saying for the best part of 50 or 60 years. That's all he said. That's the message I got from what he said. He gets unbelievable pelters for that. I've always found the Anthony Joshua criticism odd. Really odd.
Interesting that Tyson had that early part of his career and then he turned it around. It's almost like a roller coaster for both of them.
Yeah, they've both been up against it. They've both been on a roller coaster. They're emotional, high-profile characters, and in all fairness, that's part of their attraction. What makes them so good is often what leads them so low. Tyson Fury, we know he's battled all those demons, and so it's quite simple. If AJ had said, after maybe the Ruiz fight, in the build-up before we come to when we get past Pulev, when he was kind of angry in the build-up, if he'd have said then, I'm having some issues with my mental health, he wouldn't have had the last 2.5 years of stick. That's all he needed to say. He needed to look down the lens and say, I'm Anthony Joshua, it's late 2021, and I'm having some problems with my mental health. That's what he didn't say. One simple sentence would have got everybody off his back. That's the truth. It's as simple as that. So when he had that breakdown in the ring in Saudi after the Usyk fight, guess what? We wouldn't be having the conversation about his state of mind and how he's a quitter and how he can't do this and how he threw his toys out the pram. No, we'd be a little bit more understanding. He should just, if he'd have said that back then, it would have been all clear, it would have been all good, it would have been all coolio in the land of AJ.
Last question on AJ. We've seen him change trainer. Again, that drew more criticism. Obviously, Ben's coming off a lot of good wins. And also, he's picked Otto Wallin. And I've spoken to a lot of people in the industry off camera, and they're all saying, there's a good chance Wallin's going to cause the upset here. But we've got to make sure if he beats him and he beats him well, he's got to be given that credit.
Listen, I think Otto Wallin or Wallin, I think it's a really hard fight. I like Big Otto. I like Joey Gamache. They've got a great work ethic. They have been really avoided. That Tyson Fury fight was 2019, September. That's a long time ago. And he's had a couple of wins since. One he wasn't meant to win, one he did, and fought good men. He's done what he's needed to do. He's been avoided, he's been overlooked. We were talking about him on the BBC pod about a year ago, saying, why is his name not getting mentioned? Why is he not in the mix? Why is he not one of these guys that's put out there? He's big, he's dangerous, he's brave, he's relatively young. I think it's a really good fight. I think it's a really hard fight for AJ. Let's hope he gets some praise. Let's hope he wins. Nothing against Otto. Let's hope he wins. Let's hope he gets the praise. Let's hope he gets the fight on with Wilder next year. And I work for British newspaper, British radio company, and British television companies. Of course, I want him to beat Deontay Wilder. He's British. It's as simple as that. Hey, listen, I'd be unemployed. I'd be skint if I only covered Mexican bantamweights against Filipino bantamweights. I love those fights, but I can't get them in the paper. I can't get them on the radio. I can't get them on TV. People, I would have been out of this business cleaning windows 30 years ago if I'd have stayed a purist. No, I've got to push the British fights. It's that simple.
Bunce, I really appreciate your time. I learned something new there. I didn't know that you was a window cleaner.
A long time ago. I was a window cleaner when I was very young, about 16 years of age. I left school at 15, People don't know that. I left school at 15. Lots of people in my business didn't leave school at 15. No. They were public school at 15, you're joking. They were just warming up at 15. I left at 15.
Bunce, as always, I really respect you and appreciate your opinions. Thank you for that chat. Thank you very much. See you in Saudi.
Have you ever been stranded on the side of a motorway with a broken down car? Like me, is that something that worries you? That's where motor breakdown insurance comes in. If your vehicle breaks down, a trained professional will be sent out to get you back on the road. Or if this is not possible within the specified time frame, to transport you to your home or to the nearest garage.
You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time